Gremlins creep into the equipment. Nope, still not working. Anyway, nothing I can do about it. In any
Tom,
case, yes,
I have a couple questions for Dr. Joel.
go ahead, sir.
So, Dr. Joel, I want you to talk a little bit about this the weight loss drug that you described a month ago that doesn't degrade the muscle mass, and what the name of
Oh,
it
yeah,
is, and
yeah,
what
yeah.
the
We talked about that because a lot of these GLP-1s are going after muscle because, well, muscle, by the way, is harder to maintain. That's why it's sacrificed first. It's easier to burn than fat. And that's why people, when they go on a weight loss, because it takes more calories to maintain muscle, muscle goes first. So you say that there is one that doesn't go after the muscle as much?
There's one that's in FDA trials called retatrutide, retrutide.
Retrutide.
Yes.
And what does it do?
It's
And
supposed.
is it, in other words, it's not available right now?
It's not available right
Oh,
now.
when will it be available?
Probably in the third or fourth quarter of this year, I would think. Um, we're able to get it for patients from compounding pharmacies, from some compounding pharmacies. The issue with that particular drug is that you have to take a large quantity of it to be effective, and it can be cost prohibitive for a lot of people. It does work a little bit more effectively in terms of not reducing muscle mass. But what we recommend to people right now that are on GLP-1s in order to reduce muscle mass is, and to reduce loss of muscle mass, is to also go on a growth hormone stimulating peptide. So we have a number of those that we.
And what does that do?
So what a growth hormone stimulating peptide does, so just like a GLP-1, it's a peptide, so it's just a string of amino
Right,
acids.
right.
And what it does is it stimulates your own pituitary gland to produce an optimal amount of growth hormone. So it's not like when you take growth hormone from outside the body and you get way outside of physiological levels and it can be dangerous. What this does is it maximizes your body's own production of growth hormone. And in doing that, it helps preserve skeletal muscle, lean muscle mass in patients that are on GLP-1s. So we recommend that to a lot of our patients.
Okay. By the way, they do more than stem cell therapy. I mean, more than weight loss. They do the stem cell therapy as well. And stem cell therapy is still alive and well. A lot of people, they when they go in for stem cell therapy, though, beware of clinics that only use fluids that are shipped to them. You're not going to get living stem cells. You can get regenerative properties like exosomes and other things that are shipped into the clinic. But the only way to get living stem cell therapy is by harvesting cells from yourself. And that's what they do. Or actually, you can harvest them from anyone, but normally you go in and they take them from yourself. In fact, I don't know, have you ever had a donor come in with somebody?
We don't do it. We don't do that. We
Yeah.
only use a patient's own stem cells.
I wouldn't do that either. I mean, but anyway, somebody wants to know, does stem cell therapy work for migraines? I've never heard of that before. Have you?
No, I have not. I have not heard that.
So they said they've heard about it and they wanted to know if you've ever done it. So you never did it.
No.
Where do you have most of your success with the stem cell therapy? Like, where does it really work really, really well? And then what are the more areas that are just pains in the ass?
Well, for hair restoration, it works great. That's a separate thing from the orthopedic conditions that we treat.
Do you think that is the most successful?
It's the
If
most
you look-
popular. It's not necessarily the most successful. What we get great success in was the things that we started with knees, with shoulders, with hips, with degenerative arthritis.
But any part of those that are the easiest that you know you'll almost always have a good outcome?
It's about the same. I mean, if we're treating degenerative arthritis in a joint, anywhere in the body where you have a joint with cartilage in it, it's going to have the same effect. So we get great results as long as we're treating a joint for degenerative arthritis or for a ligament tear. Like we do, our bread and butter is going to be knees, hips, and shoulders. That's the most orthopedic stuff that we do.
Okay, somebody wants to know if they have a knee. they were told is bone on bone. You can't help
Okay.
that, right?
So that gets to a very interesting point. I made a YouTube video about this. So bone on bone arthritis is a term that orthopedists use when they're looking at an x-ray and there's a very thin line or a very hard to see line where
Here,
the joint.
bone on bone knee arthritis. A clinic says stem cells can regenerate cartilage, but may not help.
So the answer typically is yes, we can treat bone on bone arthritis. We do it all the time. Like
Really? Does it? What? How does it help that?
because it grows enough tissue in the joint space
Really?
to be able to help people to live pain-free with that symptom. We have people that come in saying they have been told that they have
Really?
bone on bone arthritis
And you actually have had success with that?
all the time. It's very common. It's more common than not that we're treating somebody
Really?
told they have bone on bone arthritis, particularly in the knee.
In the knee?
Yeah. So let
knee
me
replacements are a bitch. I hear that you never feel the same after a knee replacement.
No, knee replacements, they're getting better at them, but it's not the same as not having to have your knee cut out and a replacement put in to have stem cells done. You avoid the rehab. You wind up paying less than you would even if you have insurance for a knee replacement. But back to bone on bone arthritis.
Yeah, go ahead.
So true bone on bone arthritis, if it was really bone on bone, if there was no cartilage there, your body would fuse that together. It would want to splint that. As long as you can move the joint, that means that there's cartilage in the joint. So when they say bone on bone arthritis, it's misleading because it's not really bone on bone.
It's almost bone on bone.
It's really thin layers of cartilage.
And you can
And we
enhance
treat
those.
that all the time.
Okay,
We
good.
do that all the time.
Really?
So if somebody's been told they have bone on bone arthritis and their only option is surgery, don't believe it. Come talk to us first. There are some cases
That will be a bone on bone.
there's not necessarily because, like I said, it would mean that it was splinted. There are some cases of degenerative arthritis that are so bad that we would recommend to somebody that they get surgery instead of doing a stem cell procedure. But in most cases, we can provide at least some percentage of pain relief and functionality and mobility. Sometimes 100%, sometimes less. But we always tell the patient what the expected outcome is going to be based on those findings.
So bone on bone, what you're saying, a diagnosis of bone on bone.
It's not a diagnosis. That's not such a thing as a diagnosis of bone on bone. Just to be clear, that's not like a coded diagnosis.
Oh, no. Okay, not a diagnosis,
It's like a term.
But a term. If they tell you have bone on bone arthritis, I mean, isn't that a diagnosis?
It's not a diagnosis. It's
is arthritis the diagnosis?
Arthritis, degenerative arthritis would be the diagnosis.
Okay, got it. And then the bone on bone would be the result of that.
The bone on bone is just a term that's kind of thrown out there to say that you have very little or limited cartilage in the joint.
Okay.
It's almost never truly bone on bone because, like I said, if it was,
it would fuse. It would literally fuse.
Yes. So people get that in their finger sometimes where there is truly no cartilage and the finger will fuse like in a pinky. Sometimes that happens to people, but you don't really see it in a major joint.
Okay. We have more right after this.
Now, impact traffic.
Is this a 15 or 30?
On the north end of town to start off your
30, good sir.
25 southbound just after 120th
thank you.
Avenue. We've got a right lane block due to a pretty
You're welcome, Tom.
spill. This one will be around for a while with about 15 minutes of delay. Stop and go traffic back from East 144th Avenue. Otherwise, your standard Monday afternoon drive just south of that crash through Commerce City I-270 eastbound. Some slowdowns just after I-76. With traffic, I'm Mark Swan.
This report is sponsored by the Our American Stories podcast.
This is Lee Habib, host of Our American Stories. On our next episode, we'll share the story of how an unlikely alliance brought about religious freedom. You won't want to miss the next episode of Our American Stories.
Joe Lazzara is a defense attorney. If you're charged with anything, a crime or a traffic offense, a DUI, and you need help, Joe Lazzara will help you in this way. He'll talk to you up front with no cost whatsoever as an initial consultation. If you decide you want to hire Joe Lazzara, then he quotes the entire case for a flat rate. You'll know the cost of everything going in. 303-429-6200, Lazzara, LazzaraLegal.com, 303-429-6200.
Because he's the only agent that will guarantee to sell your home at your price, or he'll write you
Brand source.
Oh.
Reel to reel repair. Okay, let's try it that way. Reel. Okay, I will check it out. All the best and worst Super Bowl commercials, and Bad Bunny? Was Bad Bunny more like Elmer Fudd? Join me at 4.
Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Welcome to the show. Someone wants to know if they have a youngster who pitches in baseball and they're having a terrible time. He's a really good pitcher, but having a terrible time. Are young people? We never hear of young people doing stem cell therapy. What is the thought on that?
We do that. We treat that.
You
We treat
you
young
have
people all the time.
have you treated young athletes?
Yeah. Mhm.
Really?
Yeah.
What mostly do you do?
Things like she's exactly talking about, like elbow injuries in pitchers, ankle injuries in soccer players.
You must have really good results with young people,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. They get
Because they
better within like a
regenerate
couple of weeks. And
really,
they're
and they
feeling better.
notice the difference.
Yeah. Hmm.
Wow, I never thought of that. Okay, and then on the other one, hips. What can you do for hips, and have you done hips?
Well, that's probably the second most common thing that we treat. Knees and then hips and shoulders after that.
So knees first,
Knees, I would say, is primarily like the majority of the procedures that we do,
and then hips,
followed closely by hips and shoulders.
and then shoulders.
Yeah, right about the same frequency, hips and shoulders. So what can we do for a hip? If there's degenerative
Yeah,
arthritis in the
right.
hip, we, just like a knee, just like
Just a
shoulder,
normal stem cell
we
therapy.
inject it right into that ball, that socket joint
Right.
in the hip, and it'll regenerate cartilage. There's a couple of things we can't treat in a hip. If there's what's called a full circumferential labral tear, which is
What does that mean?
it's just a fancy name. It means like the tissue that holds the ball and socket into the joint, that there's a tear all the way around the tissue that holds that in.
And you can't help
We
that.
can't help that. That's a surgical procedure. Or if there's a what's a bone spur inside the joint, that needs to be removed surgically. But if it's ligament damage, if it's degenerative arthritis, if it's cartilage damage, we can treat all of those things.
Now, something we don't hear a lot of, but somebody touched on it here. They had surgery already.
Mhm.
Does this help recover from surgery and help around surgery?
Absolutely. And we do that for a lot of patients all
You
the
do
time.
after surgery.
Right. And I'll give you an example of something like that. So we treat rotator cuff tears in the shoulder all the time.
Okay.
But let's say somebody has a rotator cuff tear and that tendon is actually severed.
Okay.
So we can't put it together with stem cells. What we'll tell a patient with a severed tendon is that they need to have it surgically repaired first, which is
Right.
they sew it back together, and then we can treat it with stem cells to accelerate the healing, to make sure that it heals properly and stronger than it would otherwise on its own. So we do have a lot of patients that go and get surgery first and then come back for stem cell therapy to make the surgery, the results of the surgery better.
Anybody, do you do any eye problems like macular degeneration or anything like that?
We don't treat the eyes.
Okay. Are there stem cell therapies for eyes and you just don't do them, or have you ever heard of it being used in the eye?
I've heard of drops that can be used in the eye. I've heard of that being done. It's just not something that we do with our clinic.
Okay. So of the joints,
Mhm.
are there any where they have a low probability of having success? Let's take them all, like ankles, like wrists, knees, shoulders, elbows.
I would say that no particular joint has a higher or lower ability to be treated with
It's how
success. It's how bad the injury was in the first place and the health status of the patient going into the procedure.
what does
So,
that mean? You want to,
Well, I mean, if we're treating, an 85-year-old
right,
man who's
as opposed to a younger person.
right, they're not going to have as great of an outcome based on how healthy they are.
Do stem cells get old? I mean, I always heard if you get a stem cell, they're new. So it doesn't matter if you're 80 or it doesn't matter if you're 40 or 30. Stem cells are new cells.
Well, that depends. We make recommendations based on a patient's health status. So in some cases, if somebody's really old and unhealthy, we'll recommend supplementing with umbilical cord stem cells. We'll add that to the mix, or add exosomes, or add something else that will accelerate that healing.
All right. We have more coming up. 303-713-8255 or call 303 Martino. Stem cell therapy and more coming up. I need to summarize it.
We've had complaints about that place. Pizza.
On 630 KHOW.
Ripped off, bad news. You need advice so you don't have to lose. We'll come running just as fast as we can. Troubleshooter's gonna help the common man.
This is the Troubleshooter Show. Now, Tom Martino.
Hey, I'm Tom Martino. Welcome to the show. 303-713-TALK. 303-713-8255. This hour brought to you by waterpros.net. If you want the best water systems at the lowest prices, don't bother doing I say this all the time, supplements and diet and exercise, and then feed yourself crap water. Don't do it. You don't have to buy bottled water ever again. Reverse osmosis at the kitchen sink, $1,100. You are going to pay way more than that anywhere else. The best prices. You want a whole house system? They start at about $3,000 to $4,000, and that is waterpros.net. Okay. Charles has a question for Dr. Joel Cherdak in denverregen.com. Charles, what is your question?
I'm 81 years old, and I've been told that I'm losing balance because of compression in my neck. Does the doctor work on that?
Do you guys work on neck compressions?
We do. It just depends what the actual problem is, like what's causing the compression. So the short answer is yes, we do treat neck conditions, but we'd have to look at the MRI or whatever images that we have that this gentleman has, so that we can decide whether it's something that we can treat. So the short answer is yes, it's potential that we can treat it. We just have to do a little bit more evaluating of what the condition is.
Did they tell you it was arthritis?
No, I was an interstate trucker in a big rig, and the bowling ball started pushing down on my neck, I imagine. But I'm 81. So
Yeah. No, I know. Have you ever had your entire spine evaluated by docs, or are they just looking at the neck?
No, they looked at everything. The only problem I have is in my neck, and I can't find anybody that works on my neck.
Well, they do neck, so it depends on the problem. Do you have MRIs?
Yeah.
You do. You know, if they can look at your imaging, they can give you a better idea.
Yeah, if you get in touch with us, we can take a look. It sounds to me like what you have is degeneration of the discs between the vertebrae in your neck. That's what compression would be. So yeah, we can treat that. I would imagine that surgery is not a great option for you at 85, because a decompression surgery is a pretty major surgery. It's a 7 or 8 hour surgery. So it's worth having us take a look at it and letting you know if there's something that we can do for you.
Okay. Thank you for Charles. Just get in touch with denverregen.com. Can I give out that 720 phone number?
Sure.
720-583-1648. Kachina, make sure he gets that off the air, 720-583-1648. Somebody says, isn't low testosterone caused by obesity, diabetes, certain meds, heavy alcohol, chronic stress? Aren't these contributing factors to low T?
Yes, they are all contributing factors to low testosterone, but also just simply aging is a contributor to low testosterone. So those factors.
But do you counsel people when you give them, when they get on your program for testosterone replacement, and you guys do the shots, right?
Right.
And do you ever counsel them on losing weight or diabetes or certain medications that could cause it?
Yeah, so they go through a full evaluation with our medical doctor, who go through all of those things with them. And if there's any red flags, we'll talk to them about that. Obesity, diet, exercise, those things will all be discussed.
Now, this is the second one I've gotten on this. So this is too weird. They're two different people. I don't think they know each other. I would never know, but they said, why don't you emphasize that once you start TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, your body shuts down its own production? I've never heard that. Does it?
Yes, it does.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes.
This is the first time I'm ever hearing that.
Yes.
So why is that? Because it doesn't need it. So
it doesn't need it. It's because your brain is not signaling that you need more testosterone. So it shuts down testosterone production naturally in your body. Now, when you go off of it, you go below that number, your body will start producing it again. You can also,
but it won't produce it to the levels you had with supplement.
No, it'll produce it to the levels that you had prior to the
supplementation. Okay. So it's not like it shuts down because they said, does that mean you have to be on TRT for life? Well, that's a loaded question. You have to be on TRT for life to get optimum levels. You're never going to produce, once you get older and your testosterone goes down, it's not going to come back up again.
Right. So people ask me that question all the time. And the best analogy that I use for that is if you decide that you want to go get healthy and go to the gym and work out and exercise and eat healthy, you can choose to do that for the rest of your life and feel great as you do it. You can also choose not to do that and you'll go revert to where you were before you did those things.
Okay. And that's the same thing with TRT.
Yeah, if you want to feel better and you want to feel healthy,
you keep doing it.
Keep doing it. If for some reason you need to go off it, you're not going to be worse off than you were before.
And by the way, what you're doing is replacing what you had. It's not a foreign entity. I don't know why people feel that hormones are foreign to the body. They're not. They're used to, testosterone is something you've always had.
Right.
It's not, in fact, it's the unnatural thing not to have it. That's why you age.
That's correct.
All of these things start shutting down. All of these things in your body, not just testosterone, but other things that lead to age. And testosterone is just one of them. What about fertility? Does it shut down sperm production?
It lowers sperm production. So if you're somebody who's on testosterone replacement therapy and you're interested in having children, then you want to take another drug with it that increases your body's, a drug called human chorionic gonadotropin, or HCG. Many people.
But do people go on it in their 30s and 40s or 20s? No. How old are the typical patients?
I would say our younger range of patients is going to be about 35. That's going to be about.
Why does it start slowing down?
People over 30 can start to have reduced testosterone levels. So,
really?
Yeah. Obviously we check that. We make sure somebody's actually a candidate for testosterone replacement therapy, meaning that it's lower than optimum. But yeah, we treat patients as young as 35.
Okay. It says here, is it dangerous for your heart? Where did that come from?
So that's part of that old
study,
debunked research. So it's not, it doesn't cause heart attacks. It doesn't cause cancer. It's actually protective of your heart at the levels that we treat people. If you went way, way, way above, potentially.
Is it a growth hormone of sorts?
It's not a growth hormone.
But somebody said it can help you gain muscle.
It's an anabolic steroid. So yes, it can.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
It is a steroid?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know what? That's another thing I didn't know.
Testosterone is a steroid hormone.
So how often do you check for hematocrit? That's the hematocrit. That is the thicken of the hematocrit. Hematocrit.
Mm-hmm.
You check that to make sure the blood's not too thick.
Correct. Quarterly.
And that's enough to keep it in check?
Yes.
Okay. And what about PSA? Do you check PSA?
Yes, quarterly, along with the hematocrit.
And explain what PSA is.
So prostate-specific antigen is what PSA stands for. And it's just to test to make sure that there isn't growing of the prostate.
And you can find trends with that. They hardly ever do any manual or any exams anymore for men.
They had that commercial on the Super Bowl about it. Now,
they did?
The fingerless PSA test.
Oh yeah, yeah. You don't
fingerless prostate.
They don't
test.
do that. They don't do that exam anymore.
The digital prostate.
Even if you go to get your physical, they don't, unless for some reason your PSA goes up.
Right.
And what is a normal PSA? That's hard to say.
I don't recall the numbers off the top of my head.
And is it true that some people feel good at first, but there is a crash to it when you stop or you slow down? What does that mean? Initial energy, and does it boost your libido as well?
Yes, it does increase energy and boost libido. If you go off of it, those things are going to reduce back to baseline, back to where you were. So
it doesn't make them worse, in other words.
No, you may feel worse because you felt better, but it doesn't objectively make them worse.
Okay, what about sleep? What does it do?
Improve sleep quality as well. Yes.
Okay. So anyway, if you have any more questions, you can give me a call. By the way, my text number, which seems to be very popular, is 747 999 5280. It comes right to my cell phone and to my computer. 747 999 5280. Somebody else says, can stem cells do something for an irreparable rotator cuff tear? What does it mean, irreparable? I mean,
I'm not sure what irreparable means in that context, but we treat rotator cuff tears, even if they're old tears. We do that all the time.
Okay. And next one is, and by the way, folks, I'm really summing these up. I'm going right to the root. And if you hear me reading your text, don't expect to hear it word for word, because I just don't have time to read them all. So I go right to it. Torn meniscus.
Torn meniscus is something we treat in the knee all the time.
Does it help?
It helps. The one thing about a torn meniscus, if it's a torn meniscus, it's torn and it's kind of flapped over, creating an impingement, meaning that you can't straighten the leg out. That's something that needs to be surgically corrected, but that's rarely the case with a torn meniscus. Most of them don't do that. So yes, we treat torn menisci all the time.
Okay, we got more coming up. I'm Tom Martino.
iHeartRadio.
Olympics update.
U.S. Olympic star Lindsey Vonn underwent surgery on a broken leg after crashing in the women's downhill. Head physician Jeff Harrison says Vonn was heroic to try to compete despite a major knee injury.
To have her career end on such a note was very tough to witness.
Team USA's medal quest continues today in speed skating as Erin Jackson and Brittany Bowe compete in the women's 1,000 meters.
For NBC's live coverage from Italy, search Olympics on the free iHeartRadio app.
Here's a simple way to get criminal defense help. You can talk free of charge to Joe Lazzara up front, and then flat rate pricing for the entire case. 303-429-6200, 303-429-6200. You've heard it said Gravina's got the greatest windows. Well, I think what we really mean to say is they have the greatest assortment of windows, 50 lines of windows. Think about that. Some places only sell one or two brands, and no matter what, that's the only thing they can offer you. But when you talk about Gravina's, you're talking about literally 50 different lines. So if it's for your rental, your fix and flip, or your dream home, they have the right window for you with the knowledge to back it up. An offshoot of their granddad from years and years ago, Larry started his own company, and then Nick took over for his dad, Larry. And it's 950 West Evans, 303 Gravina, 303 Gravina, or online, Gravinas.com. Let me find Phyllis here. Last week. There it is. Armstrong Furnace.
We'll put the hurt on you. Bottom line. The best. Bottom line. We'll open your panel. Enter the message. And take it out to less.
I'm sorry, YouTubers, what I had to do, I had to shut down in the middle because I had a fart.
Glad I wasn't there.
You know, we had that, whenever we have that fart, it happens. It's I don't know what happens, broadband or something. All of a sudden I went away. There's no rhyme or reason. No rhyme or reason.
You know,
I don't touch a fucking button, so shut up, everybody.
On Wednesday.
Huh?
Why? Might need a ride. Okay. Let me let you know on Wednesday. I'm taking my doggone car to Sheridan Auto Tech, so I can let you know tomorrow. Ooh, I got my thing wet. Yeah, I'll make a note of it. And Tuesday's Chopper Day. I definitely won't be here for Chopper Day.
You're a pain in the ass, Bo. You bring it out in him. God, I can't believe all the... I have a lot of questions. That's good, though, I guess.
.com. Denver's talk station. 630 KHOW.
Hey, 303 Martino, get you in now or for a future show if you call later on 24/7, 303-627-8466. I do have some testosterone questions here. One is, where actually do they get it? You mentioned that their hormones, are they bioidentical? Where do they get them? Are they produced or synthetically, or are there donors, or do they come from animals? You know, that's another good question. Where does testosterone come from?
They're produced synthetically by manufacturers.
Okay, so it's just a synthetic. They can make synthetic hormones.
Yes.
Okay, and the next one, can you has stem cell therapy ever been used for hearing loss?
Not that I'm aware of.
And what about plantar fasciitis?
Yes, all the time.
Really? What is that?
Plantar fasciitis is just a irritation of the tissue on the bottom side of your foot. It can be really, really sharp, painful.
And it does help a lot.
Yeah, yeah. We inject at the insertion and the origin points of that, of the fascia or the muscle that gets irritated. So we treat plantar fasciitis quite often.
Okay, and then we already talked about the rotator cuff. Okay, so let me go to Bo. Bo, Phyllis had an Armstrong furnace 5 years ago installed. She said it had a 10-year warranty, but that's only on the heat exchanger. And the furnace went out, and she can't get any service, she said, from the people who put it in. And I said, you don't need the original people to come back. It's not under warranty, so call anyone. I mean, you were going to look at it and see what you could. And so what did you find out?
Right. Phyllis waited 4 days and no heat, and she wanted the contractor, Steel Brothers, to come out.
Right.
And they wouldn't come out unless there was a charge for it. And she has a 10-year warranty, but the paperwork clearly states the warranty's on a heat exchanger.
Of course.
The unit is 5 years old. So the good thing about the show is that the contractor, Steel Brothers, was listening to the show. And they made contact with her. They went out, diagnosed it. She needed an inducer blower and a pressure switch. The initial bill for these parts and labor was $600. But since we got involved and they were on the air about it, they cut the bill in half to $300.
Oh, that's really good.
So I think it was a good solution. They listened, and she's got heat now.
Good. Thank you, Bo, for following that up. That's really good. Yes. I appreciate that. Okay, 303-713-8255. I want to talk about this thing. Somebody wrote about a cell phone problem, and then they said, well, what carrier is best? And this is what people have mixed up, okay? First and foremost, there are only 3 carriers, okay? There are many cell companies, but there are only 3 carriers. People don't know that. People think there are dozens of carriers. You have AT&T, which has a network of towers. You have T-Mobile, and you have Verizon. That's it. Everyone else buys from them and resells. Some of them can do it cheaper. Some do it for the same price, but they're the only ones. So remember that. It's called a real network. They own the licenses, they maintain the cell towers, and they run the core network. That is what you need to know. So if you want to know, what you do is you ask these mobile virtual network operators. They're called MVNOs. You ask the virtual operators who they use as their carrier. Like Consumer Cellular uses AT&T. Mint Mobile uses T-Mobile. Cricket uses AT&T. So if you use Cricket or Consumer Cellular, you're going to get the same exact coverage, period. That's it. Verizon does Verizon. Straight Talk does Verizon. And there are many, many more. So if you're looking for a cell carrier, you're only going to have those 3 choices. So if you're leaving, let's say, Verizon because you're pissed off at them, and you want to go to another network, you might be thinking you're getting away from Verizon, and you're not. You're actually, using Verizon if you go to a reseller that is on the Verizon network. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, here's the deal. Many of these virtual companies only provide service in certain areas. So AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon are national. But even if you get like Consumer Cellular that uses AT&T, that doesn't mean, not Consumer Cellular, let's say US Cellular. Even though you think they're on a national network, they have limited service areas. So really, when someone says I'm switching carriers, they don't necessarily switch carriers. Now, as far as the quality, who do you think came out number 1 in all areas? Listen to this. On the testing, they had people drive hundreds of thousands, 265,000 miles, they said, over a few years. And over last year, they had volunteers all over driving and testing the networks. Who do you think consistently came out the best? Verizon. I don't have Verizon. I have AT&T. T-Mobile came out next, and then AT&T. AT&T was third. So if you want to look for the best overall coverage, Verizon is it. In small towns, highways, even on the edge of coverages, Verizon filled in the gaps better. Then T-Mobile was, by the way, fastest in big cities, and they have amazing speeds, but they did not have the coverage that Verizon had. They had more dropped and failed calls than Verizon, but AT&T was catching up to both of those, is a third place. So those are the ones. So if you want to find a virtual network, find one that has Verizon and you have the number 1 network. The number 2 network is T-Mobile, and the number 3 is AT&T. 303-713-8255.
KRFX HD2 Denver.
KHOW Denver, an iHeartRadio station. Ryan Schuling, Tom Martino, Michael Brown Reloaded, and Dan Kaplis. This is Denver's talk station, 630 KHOW. Now, impact traffic.
A couple slow spots on the north end of town. I-25 southbound, just south of 120th. A right lane blocked due to an accident. Stop and go traffic back from 144th. We're seeing about a 10-minute delay there. A stalled semi I-25 northbound at 84th. Folks are moving around this one just fine. You're going to see a right lane block. Otherwise, a calm drive throughout the Denver Metro. With traffic, I'm Mark Swan.
This report is sponsored by The Carol Markowitz Show.
Hey, it's Carol Markowitz. This week, I sit down with Yehuda Reamer and Ben Ferguson to talk culture, politics, and the fights shaping America right now. Honest conversations you won't hear anywhere else. Listen and subscribe to The Carol Markowitz Show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Discount Bath is something that I really love talking about because we're talking about the guaranteed best prices anywhere for your bathroom remodel. That's why the name Discount Bath. Whether it's your dream house or a rental or a fix and flip, they have different styles and different levels of trim, but they're all great and they're all at the best price. Now, what you can do is get a price without them even coming to your home to see if you want to do it, okay? What you do is you take your smartphone and video the area. You go into a bathroom and talk. Hey, I want to do a double vanity here. I want to move this toilet. I want to do a bigger shower. I want to do this kind of floor, these kinds of walls, or ask for their suggestions. When you video it, you upload it on their website. You get an exclusive upload link. Then they contact you with a price. So go to discountbath.com to start the process. Discountbath.com. 720-979-2322.
The pizza's a little late today.
We don't have any pizza, and I don't know who it is, but I can't do anything about it.
Chick-fil-A with frozen lemonade?
I actually don't know who it is. I'm going to have to look.
Wasn't me.
I think it's Dragon Redbeard.
I have no idea. There's nothing I can do about it. Dolce, answer the phone. Answer the door. Jesus. Oh, it's FedEx. They just rang to let me know they were there, I think. Yeah. There's you. There's... I missed one.
Too early. Best of my knowledge, I didn't think you could remote into the actual studio. Well, no. These ones are no. Those ones are, that's a different story.
Are you Mike the engineer by chance? I'm Dominic. Ah. Hi, Dominic. Hey, you don't control these access cards, do you? Okay. And he's rarely around here, huh? Oh, is he? Yeah, I want to get...
At Done Right Home Improvements, drhi.com.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Somebody talked about miserable mechanics, and they want to know if this certain person's on the list. I've been very deficient on getting people up on that list. There are more than there are some that should be up there that aren't. But the ones up there right now, just so you know, they're really bad, okay? One is Eric Brown, and he's at, the name of his company is GoCat Speed Shop. GoCat Speed Shop. The other one is Jim Weiss. He's at 44th Auto, although we haven't heard about him in a long time. The other is Jeff Jolliffe. Anything to do with Jeff Jolliffe, stay away from. I don't even know what the newest name of his company is. And then as far as franchises, Jiffy Lubes, owned by Griffin Oil Company, they absolutely positively suck. The reason I say Jiffy Lube owned by Griffin Oil Companies, you may be in an area where the Jiffy Lube is not owned by Griffin Oil Company, and it might be run a little better. The other one was Prestige Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Longmont. Terrible, terrible, terrible people. And then there's a guy, Henry Gonzalez. Henry Gonzalez doesn't even have the name of a company. He's just a bad dude. And then mobile ripoff mechanic, Michael Van Alstine. Michael Van Alstine. The reason I mention these guys is because I wanted to make sure this person is looking for a mechanic, and I wanted to make sure they don't get any of these. Now, as far as people that should be on there, I don't believe, I'm going to look, I don't believe I have, let me see, any mechanics on there. Let's see. Here's who I do have. I have, I don't know the name of this contractor. Hold on. It's, nope, I don't have the name of the contractor, but he took $27,000 from Wendy, and I'm trying to find the name. The name is American Bath Solutions, Peter Completo, Cumplido. These are people I haven't gotten up there yet. American Bath Solutions, Peter Completo. And the other one is, let's see, let me make sure I have it right. Harlan Woods. Harlan Woods. And this is, I sold my truck to him. He gave me a cashier's check that bounced. Now he's not paying me. I called the police. They said it was a civil matter. So this is a guy that's bad news, Harlan Woods. And then there's one other one. Okay. And this is Colton Brody. Colton Brody, self-employed in the Colorado Springs area. And he is Brody Developments. Bad freaking news. So we have a number of people I haven't put up there yet. And I'm sorry about that. Okay. Let me go back to my information for Dr. Joel Cherdak here. And here, okay, someone wants to know, can they get systemic stem cell? They've heard of systemic stem cell therapy just for overall health. I believe exosomes are good for that, right? You don't even have to do stem cells. You do exosomes. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, we do infusions of stem cells.
You do just for general health.
For general health. Yeah.
What are they? What happens when you do that?
You decrease degeneration in everything in your body. So it's going to, wherever there's inflammation in your body, it's going to go to the areas that there's inflammation and stop or reduce or heal what's causing that inflammation. So that's what it does. So it can be anything.
Okay, cool. Now, Tom, we paid off our timeshare years ago, but we're still paying giant maintenance fees, and they keep going up every year. Well, welcome to timeshares. They're the worst investment you can have. I'm sorry this is happening to you, but wait until you get the special assessment, because I have another one here that I have to pay a special assessment. They're redoing the parking lot. So listen to this. You have a timeshare, you pay for the timeshare. Then you're paying up to $2,400 a year. That's $200 a month just to keep the stupid thing, even though you only stay there a week. Think about that. $2,400, and you have maybe a week or two that you stay there, and you're paying $2,400 a year for maintenance. Then you're socked with a $15,000 assessment, 15 grand, because you own the place. Now think about that. You want to have a slap in the face. Walk away from it. They never come after you if you walk away from it. Or you can call one of these exit teams, but be careful with them too. Because here's what they say. This is what you have to watch out for timeshare exit. Now, we have a good one on our referral list that does it. What's his name again? Oh, damn it. That's who Kachina was trying to think of earlier. Michael Finn, I believe. Finn, the Finn Law Group, Finn. He does a great job. He's an attorney, and he's in Florida. But anyway, here's the bottom line. Many of these exit teams say this: they guarantee to get you a settlement, and then your fee is due. If you turn down the settlement, in the small print it says that you still have to pay the fee. So that settlement, think about this. You say that you will accept the settlement and owe the fee, and if you don't accept the settlement, you still owe the fee. So they say their obligation to you is fulfilled once they get you a settlement offer. But in some cases, the settlement offer is you have to pay 25 grand. So now you have to pay 25 grand plus the attorney or the timeshare exit team. And so see, if you turn it down, they're going to say, well, we got you a settlement. It puts no limits on the settlement. Watch out for those kinds of contracts, please. When you talk about timeshare settlements, watch out, because it will say when the fee is due. And many of them have the fee due as soon as they get you a settlement offer. But remember, that offer may be terrible. And if you don't take it, you still have to pay the timeshare exit people. So that's why I do not recommend most of them. You should never have to pay that fee unless they get you out of it under acceptable terms for all of you. I'm Tom Martino, 303-713-8255.
Now, impact traffic.
A couple slow spots on the north end of town. I-25 southbound, just south of 120th. A right lane blocked due to an accident. Stop and go traffic back from 144th. We're seeing about a 10-minute delay there. A stalled semi I-25 northbound at 84th. Folks are moving around this one just fine. You're going to see a right lane block. Otherwise, a calm drive throughout the Denver Metro. With traffic, I'm Mark Swan.
This report is sponsored by the Our American Stories podcast.
This is Lee Habib, host of Our American Stories. On our next episode, we'll share the story of how an unlikely alliance brought about religious freedom. You won't want to miss the next episode of Our American Stories.
Hey, if you are looking to be a landlord and you don't want the conventional risks and hassles, look into the Vestera way, Vesterra. Vestera Turnkey is a system where you become a landlord and they help you find the house in a great market around the country. And they help you hook up with a management company to take care of the rental. And then when it's time to sell in 2 to 3 years, they help you sell it for profit. It's an equity play. You get a rental, rent it out, and then sell it, all under Vestera's guidance. VesteraTurnkey.com, VESTERRA, 303 888 3788.
Farmer.
I do have Completo. I do have him up. Heat Completo. Huh. Oh, the real tape deck. I got to finish laying out all my supplements. I do that every 6 weeks. I go through them like crazy. Do you do supplements?
Yeah.
Do you do them like out of the bottle every day, or do you have a?
No, I do them weekly. I've got 2
I got every. I
containers.
do 6 weeks because I think it's 6 weeks because there's just too many to.
What do you? Do you have like a 6-week container?
No, I have 1 week at a time. 1 weekday, 1 weeknight.
Right, that's what I
have
have.
6 of them.
Okay, you have 6 individual. I have 2, one for day and one for night. So that's why I got.
I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 12. I have whatever. If they're up on the counter. Maybe I don't have 6. I think I have 6 weeks.
Do you have 12 of them?
But anyway,
yeah,
that's what it would be. 12.
That's.
But I have that. So I have one for days. One. It's the most convenient thing I can do. But I'd rather just take the time to do it every 6 weeks than every week because every week is too much.
It is. I wind up like where it's not done, and I'm taking them out of the
Exactly.
bottle. And
That's exactly right.
So I get around to doing it.
And every once in a while, I don't know what it is. I have like a mental block. I just won't take them. I forget, and I see them because they're labeled for the day. So I say, "Shit, I didn't take it yesterday."
Yeah, that happens to me too.
My main thing now is just living a normal life until I grow. If I could grow old, I don't want cancer to come back. And they say once you had it, you gotta be watched like a fucking dog.
Yeah.
God damn. I was so lucky that I discovered it when I did.
Yep.
Think about 100% eradication of stem cell.
You got very fortunate.
But they never say you're cured because one cell could have gotten out. But I mean, they did everything, chemo before surgery, chemo after surgery, and 28 rounds of radiation. hoping we got it all. And it had, it never went into my lymph or my blood system.
For our weekend recap with his analysis of the 2026 races for governor and U.S. Senate, Monday on Ryan Schuling Live.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. So Johnny called the other day. He went to Jose. Yeah, so I said the other day earlier. Jose Guerrera, reel-to-reel repair. 2 years ago, came and got a tape deck from the guy and the guy from Johnny, and Johnny paid him $100 for parts. He never heard from Guerrera again. Were you able to track him down, Bo?
And not only that, Johnny gave him the entire tape deck. So
already?
Well, I think he gave him the whole machine.
No. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying that Guerrera gave. I'm sorry. Jose did not. So did you get a hold of Jose? Yeah, Johnny gave him. Johnny gave him the whole reel-to-reel along with $100.
He gave him the whole tape deck.
Were you able to get a hold of Jose Guerrera?
No, I called. The number's disconnected. I looked online for reel-to-reel of Denver. I can't get a hold of him. So what I'm going to do, Tom, is call Johnny back after the show and see if he can help me with the receipt, with a physical address.
Hey, yeah.
Then I'm going to go over there because Johnny needs to have his antiquated reel-to-reel tape back. Wow. If not, maybe we can find him one on eBay.
Yeah, they're probably going to be worth nothing. I mean, you could probably get them really cheap.
Yeah, Johnny's blind. I don't know if you knew that, Tom.
No, I didn't.
So that's why he needs this stuff. I think I really want to help him. I feel bad, but I wish he would have called us like a week after it happened instead of 2 years. I mean, he turned it over to him, I think, in April of 2022, so that's a little tough. But I'm gonna call him after the show again and see if I can get a physical address for reel-to-reel repair of Denver, Jose Guerrera.
Yeah. So anyway, we were talking stem cell therapy. I wanted to get back to that, but somebody real quick said, Tom, when you were warning people, don't forget to warn them about John Kennedy and Lori Brandau, J&L Construction and Real Estate. They took $174,000 from me, and I got nothing but terrible, terrible work, and they never finished it. And my terminally ill husband loaned them $25,000. So an unpaid loan, an incomplete job. Thank you, J&L Construction out of Netherland, Colorado. And by the way, if you care about where their number, it's 720-560-7686. That's J&L Construction and Real Estate. Yeah, it's good to have this list. It's the total antithesis of the referralists. Referralists are great people. And of course, the Sleaze Brigade are people you just can't trust. Okay, I'm really interested to know what happens with Ryan and this forged quitclaim deed. Someone else said this happened to them, and they were able to get the county to undo it without having to go to court. Now, I don't know how the hell that happened. He was able to prove it was a fraud, and he was able to do that through the notary, and the county simply tore up that quitclaim deed. I didn't know they could do that. Anyway, we referred him to Brad O'Brien at O'Brien Legal Services because that's a serious issue. Quitclaim deeds can be taken out on any property. People can forge them every day. But please just do this. Be careful and see if your county does notification emails when someone tries to record against your property. Now, I know Title Lock does that, but please don't be misled by the name called Title Lock, because that is a misnomer. They don't lock your title, okay? They don't lock it. Now, I wanted to mention something else here, and that is stem cell therapy. Somebody wants to know if you've ever done it with sore feet. You said plantar fasciitis. What other foot problems have you done with stem cell therapy? They didn't say what it was. They just said foot. What kind of foot problem? Would they have arthritis?
So with that, arthritis in the joints or neuropathy also. We treat foot neuropathy.
You do?
Yeah. And
do you treat leg neuropathy?
Depends. That's a little less common than foot neuropathy.
So does stem cell therapy heal nerves?
Yes.
You have used it for neuropathy?
Yes, we use it for foot neuropathy all the time. For diabetic foot neuropathy and other types of foot neuropathy.
Wow, that's pretty darn cool. All right, you hear the music. I'm Tom Martino. And let me tell you how to get a hold of DenverRegen.com. There it is, DenverRegen.com, 720-583-1648, 720-583-1648. I'm Tom Martino. You can get a hold of us 24/7 at 303-MARTINO. Save all your problems for me. Thank you, man.